Nothing like waking up late on a Tuesday, getting that invoice from Amazon, checking it, only to realize that it's about 70% short of what it should be. I'm gonna start this one off by saying I make a lot of videos about Amazon. I know, I can tell by their watch history. The ones I talk about money in do a lot better and get a lot more views than the ones I talk about, like the nitpicky stuff. But I'm gonna be honest, and whether you get the information from me or somebody else, the important thing is that you get the information. These nitpicky videos, these are the ones that, if you're watching the money ones thinking like, hey, I'm gonna show up to Amazon with a working truck, I'm gonna get there on time, I'm gonna knock this thing out and never have a problem, nothing could be further than the truth. These nitpicky ones are really the ones where it's like, this is how the money is made. Knowing how to do these steps, knowing exactly what to do, this is where the money is made. So, I'd love to encourage everybody to watch this video. I don't really care how popular it is. I just care that I get the information out there to you. So, if you do want to know the actual ins and outs of Amazon, it's videos like these are the ones where this is how the money is made, basically. The other thing I'm going to address here, the elephant in the room. Why is my invoice? Why is it, why is it sub $3,000? I've had a lot going on. This last week, I had like less than 30 hours to kind of throw at Amazon as far as working for them. I think I did all this in about 23 hours. So it was like 2.5 days of driving. I didn't have a lot of time, but if you're used to my usual content, everything like that, I've just had a lot going on. I didn't really have a lot of time to work for Amazon in this given week. The other thing that makes this exceptionally hurtful to me is I've had two people, one through the channel reach out to me, and then one was in person. There was one night where I was doing the shuttle hostler gig down at San 3, and both of these payment disputes are going to involve shuttle hostler shifts. Both of them reached out to me, or one of them reached out to me. One of them, it was kind of like it was his first night, and I'm like, oh, here, let me show you the ins and outs of it and everything like that. I showed both of them this method of ending the trailer hostler shift, and it kills me because I've done this well over 100 times with this same method and never had an issue with it. And what are the chances that, like, I have two people ask me this specific question in the last week, and I was in touch with both of them this morning. Neither of them got paid for it. So it's kind of like, I would hate for people to think that, I'm putting bad information out there. And if something I've said in the past no longer holds true, I'm going to get on here as soon as I can and hopefully correct that and address it, because I would hate for you to think that I'm, just handing out bad information. The one guy I did show down at San 3, he was actually there with me in person. When it came time to leave, I actually showed him on my phone, and he saw me do the same thing. It's not like I'm trying to lead people down the wrong path and doing something different. He saw the steps that I took. But basically, with both of these, it comes down to how you leave the shuttle hostler shift. Now, if we go back to my very first video I ever made, what I didn't show in that video was I got done with the shuttle hostler shift, drove home, was sitting there at home, and even though I checked out right and everything was like that, the shuttle hostler shift still stayed in my work queue. Now, at the time, I was a total noob to Amazon, didn't know, about necessarily, I knew about calling ROC, but I didn't know, what to ask for and everything like that. And this shift just stayed in my queue for hours, days, or one day after I had finished it. And so I finally got in touch with ROC, and they're like, oh, yeah, you got your Y checkout because you left through the gate, but you need to return to the facility to have them clear out the load. And I thought that was crazy. So I hopped in my little car, my four-wheeler, and I drove down to where the trucks check in. And I went down there, and I'm like, I don't know if you remember me, but I I didn't wait in the truck line. I kind of pulled off to the side and just walked up. And I'm like, I don't know if you remember me, but I was here, last night doing the shuttle hostler thing. They said that I needed to return here to have it clear out of my queue. It's it happens all the time. And what the employee instructed me to do, and what I've put in all of my shuttle hostler videos, is how to end the trip. You basically find an empty Amazon branded trailer and say that you're leaving with that. You want to do that on or after when the shift ends. You don't want to do it before the shift ends because it makes it look like you left early. But you want to do that, and then you go through the motions as if you're leaving there with that trailer. The only trick to this is when it comes time to leave. You want to find an empty Amazon branded trailer, and after working there all night, you'll know where they keep the empties, and you're going to treat that trailer as if you're leaving with it. Otherwise, the hostler shift will not clear out of your work queue. You want to attach the trailer using the manual override feature,
type in the trailer number, except you don't have to safety inspect it since you're not leaving with it. This part's a little confusing because it's going to come up with a QR code, but since the trailer was never supposed to leave in the first place, it's going to immediately generate a new QR code welcoming you back to San 5, or whichever facility you were doing this at. This is the importance of picking an empty Amazon branded trailer. And that is how you clear a trailer hostler shift out of your work queue.
And that's what clears it out of your queue. If you drive through the gate, more times than not, the load's just going to get stuck in your queue. Here's the problem with that though. When you leave, you don't get a Y checkout. Even though you're kind of manually checking out before there, and even though you still drive through the gate, you don't get that Y checkout. And if you look at what Amazon sends over in the little notes with each of these shuttle hostler shifts, they all say driver must get Y check-in and Y checkout in order to avoid any sort of like payment disruption or payment denial thing like that. Now, it's kind of a catch-22. Do you want to drive through the gate and get the Y checkout like they're asking and have the shift just stuck in your queue? I mean, what if you have something booked afterwards? So, you know, you couldn't in theory start your, not in theory, you could not start that next job because it still thinks you're doing the trailer hostler. Yay, you met the requirement of getting the Y checkout, but the work is still stuck in your work queue and there's no way to clear it. Or you can do it the way that that employee showed me and the way that I've made videos about, as far as, you know, taking that empty trailer, then checking out through their gate, and for sure clear the queue and then be eligible to start your next load if you have one scheduled. Or, you know, I mean, even if it's not scheduled right away, it could be scheduled, you know, the next day, and the shuttle hostler shift could still be in your queue. So I've always opted to just do the manual checkout, and I've never had it be a problem until this last week. So it could be that Amazon is absolutely requiring now that you get that Y check-in and Y checkout. The problem with the Y checkout is the trip is going to get stuck in your work queue. I mean, I guarantee that's going to happen to you. It was happening to one of these other guys like a week ago. He was doing it like they wanted. He was leaving through the gate, finishing the shift, leaving after he was supposed to leave, and the trip would just stay stuck in his queue. So more to come on this for sure, as far as like, you know, do they require that? I mean, obviously the Y check-in is easy. There's no way to manually check into that. So, you know, you get the check-in going in, but they may want the Y check-in going out, which is just, you know, definitely more to come on that. But enough about this. Let's do the payment disputes. All right, made it over to my folks' house where I can sit down and actually look at stuff and actually do this properly. If I'm kind of ducking down here, if I go up too high, the sun hits me. If I lean down like this, I'm out of the sun. So kind of poor planning on here. Let's do this dispute. I already did this. I'm going to edit this back into the video. I just wanted to be able to see what I was looking at here. Let's put this on pause. So the first thing you want to do, you want to find the, let's see what I do first. You want to find the invoice that's been paid wrong, and you want to click on here where it says file dispute. And it's going to say, hey, are you sure this isn't a training issue? Are you sure there's not an Amazon video you could watch to correct this? 100% it's not on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue to file a dispute. It's then going to say up here at the top right, missing item. You want to click on that, and that's where you want to type in the VRID of the load in question. So I searched for that VRID, typed it in there, and then, yeah, missing item. And then you want to click on that proceed to dispute one item. So, and then you're going to go in here, click on the amount that you're requesting. In this case, it's going to be $1,000. It's going to give you time to add a note. I prefer to type these notes up into like an actual, like I do this in the notes program on the iPad, and then I'll just copy and paste it on there. A lot of times with these, when you're typing it in, you can only see like 4 or 5 lines and you can't see what you've written first. So I'll just type these up in a note, and I just say here, you know, arrived at San 3 at 21:28, see screenshot, with a Y check-in of 21:33. I stayed on app the entire night, obtaining a screenshot every hour to prove hostler shift remained in my work queue. I am submitting 3 of these. I submitted one for 10:45, 1:45, and 6:46. Basically what I do after that unpaid hostler shift, I would recommend, if you're doing one of these, set a timer on your phone. They got me on this one time. Set a timer on your phone for every hour. If you're more OCD than me, then set it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I do mine every hour, and that just reminds me to go in, refresh the work queue so that it says, you know, refresh 0 seconds ago, and grab a screenshot of that work still being in your active work queue. That way you can prove that the work was still in your work queue up to a certain time. I had them cancel one of these one time, like halfway through the shift. I couldn't prove when they canceled it. They kind of came back to me and said, well, you should have stayed on the app screen. I thought it was kind of crap, but it kind of molded me into who I am and what I do today. It's like, okay, fine, I'll just check it every hour then. So I said I'm providing these 3. However, I have one for every hour available upon request, and I do have those. I worked the entire shift and was logged into the system and then I log into their system using a different email address. I don't use my official email address. I use another one. I'm gonna have to black that out. My work should be verifiable through the facility. I exited facility at the correct time of 7:45. So put all that, I copy that over then and just paste that into you click on add note, and then I just paste that entire thing in here so that way I can see it, I know what I'm talking about, and then click submit. Got some construction going on here behind me. And then as far as choosing files, I think I added 5. Let's see here. Yeah, I just have these already set in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I submitted those 5 screenshots. One of me arriving there for the geofence, one that shows my Y check-in, and then the other 3 are just taken throughout the shift to prove that the HOSTLER shift was still in my work queue. Once I select those 5, I add those, and the last thing to do on here is to click submit dispute. Yep, submit dispute, and it's in their hands. So look, if they're getting nitpicky and are gonna start denying payments on these because I'm not getting a Y checkout, the last thing I wanna do is be providing you with bad information. The reason I've done it the whole time was to avoid it getting hung up in the queue, but obviously this last week, something was wrong with the 2 that I did, and 2 other people had this happen to them. If it was just a glitch, and this was just like a mistake, I can't wait to report on them. If it was just a glitch, same clothes, different day. I work nights. Keep that in mind before you start casting judgment on me. Positive it's a glitch. How do I know? How am I 100% positive? Not all of us had done our payment disputes on it, but all of us woke up this morning and all of us got paid. I'm positive on mine, so when I submitted my payment dispute yesterday, wearing the same clothes, I did the $1,000 one. I didn't realize that you have to put all the disputes on one item. I've never had an invoice where it was missing more than one item. So when I submitted that one, it didn't give me the option to even add 2. So I'm just like, all right, screw it. I'll wait for the $1,000 to come in, and then I'll dispute the $800. I didn't even dispute the $800 yet, and I got paid for it. So it kind of shook me a little bit, just because I was handing out this advice to people saying like, yeah, this is how you end them, because that's how I had been told, because that's how it had always worked. And you know, when I found out that the other people weren't getting paid, it kind of made me like really question, really kind of like hurt me. It's like, man, I would hate it if I were out there giving out bad advice. So just know that you really have 2 choices if you do a HOSTLER shift. You can do it Amazon once, check out through the gate, get your Y checkout, but I guarantee the shift is still going to stay in your work queue. So there's that. So that's option 1. Option 2 is the method that I've kind of shown on here, as far as, you know, picking that empty Amazon trailer, pretending to leave with it, but not really. That for sure will clear out the HOSTLER shift. However, you for sure will not get a Y checkout. And according to their instructions, you need a Y checkout and a Y check-in. So it's kind of, you dance with whichever devil you choose. I just wanted to get on here and correct it, because it killed me that I was telling my wife yesterday. She's like, oh, so you didn't get paid? She thought I was mad about that. I wasn't mad about that at all. I was mad that I felt like I gave out bad advice, and I couldn't wait to kind of correct that. So anyway, those are your 2 choices. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. I'll be sure and get back to you. But as always, I hope this video serves you well. Appreciate you for watching. Take care.